Hello, everyone out there on YouTube, Rumble, and Xland. Welcome back to Diego Knows That. Of course, I'm Diego. And let's talk some more about Barbie. Okay, Barbie, this piece of shit. Let me tell you something, man. It is a chore to get through these goddamn videos of Barbie. You think I want to make this many fucking videos about Barbie, a toy that I never fucking gave a shit about or played with or anything like that? You know, I've only seen the movie twice now, and but there's so much to unpack here. I mean, God, the fact this movie was so successful, you know, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for what I'm trying to, what my thesis is of all these videos, because I want to say that it's man hating, and it is it's definitely in there, but you know, they're also trying to show some sort of compassion as well for the men. You know, it's not very much, very little. Okay, not even the minimum. It's observed. Okay, that maybe, or it's questioned that maybe the Kens weren't being treated fairly. Okay, in Barbie Land. Okay, but they're trying to give us two versions of really good. Give us Barbie Land, and they're giving us the real world. And the real world is more fake than Barbie Land. They keep referring to the real world as this patriarchy where men are in control of everything. Okay, and they give us this cartoon version of the real world. You know, with the CEOs and the board of directors. You know, and they represent men in the real world. There's no other with the cops. I guess the cops have a speaking role too. You see some construction workers that don't say anything, and then you see a bunch of fucking frat boys that are sexually harassing Barbie, and then one of them even grabs her ass. You know, but that's supposed to represent men in the real world, and that's just not us. That's not the way that we are. I mean, yes, there's a few guys like that, but the majority of us are not like that at all. We don't live in a world. We don't believe that fucking men control everything. Okay, we sure as fuck don't see ourselves as controlling everything. You know, we're not trying to oppress women. We're not trying to fucking put them down or anything. All of us have mothers and sisters and girlfriends and daughters and stuff. You know, we don't believe that women should be treated less than us. We don't believe that at all. You know, now I grant there was a time when that shit did go on. Okay, but my age, I'm middle aged. Okay, I mean, I did not live through that time. I did not. Okay, I was born during that era when women were burning their bras and shit, you know, and protesting Vietnam. I mean, Vietnam was already over when I was born, you know. So the whole fucking feminist movement, you know, the second wave feminist movement was well underway by the time I showed up in this world. Okay, so I mean, it was well underway. The hippies had already fucking been around for a while by this time. Woodstock had already happened. The Vietnam War was, like I said, was over now. Okay, I mean, I was born into an era that was fucking trying to recover from fucking MASH and the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family, okay? And All in the Family, right? Shit like that, okay? All in the Family was like the fucking #1 show on TV when I came into this world, okay? And that's nothing more than a bunch of fucking civil rights in every fucking episode, okay? So yes, okay, well, I grew up in all of that shit, all right? When I was a kid in the 80s, we used to watch those. They used to make made-for-TV movies. Those of you that are old enough, you would remember that. Okay, there was a few standouts. There's one with the Farrah Fawcett called The Burning Bed. I don't know if you remember that one. Okay, that came out in the early 80s, and it's about this girl. She's a redneck girl. She marries a redneck guy, and what happens? He beats the shit out of her. He beats the fucking shit out of her, sometimes in front of their kids, all right? And so it's about this woman trying to make it on her own, but her abusive husband would beat the fucking crap out of her all the time. You know, Farrah Fawcett, beautiful Farrah Fawcett, right? So one day she's had enough, and she just fucking, while he's passed out in bed, she fucking douses him in gasoline and sets him on fire. And she was acquitted. She was acquitted. This really happened. This was based on a true story. This really happened. Okay, Francine Hughes, that was her name. I remember the name. Okay, and Richard Mazer played her lawyer. Okay, he was Dave from One Day at a Time. But anyway, so she set him on fire because he just beat the shit out of her all the time. You know, and it was justified. You can say it was justified. You know, she was arrested. She went to jail, and she was acquitted for temporary insanity, okay, because he had just really beaten the crap out of her, okay, right before she decided to fucking give him some payback, all right? But the point is that these movies used to exist when I was a kid. I was surrounded by this shit all the fucking time, okay? My entire childhood, I knew that it was wrong to hit women. I knew that it was wrong to cheat on your wife. Okay, I knew that it was wrong to treat women like fucking second-class citizens. Okay, I'd already seen those episodes on the Brady Bunch, on the Partridge Family. Okay, I already saw that shit on Punky Brewster, on Eight Is Enough. Okay, on fucking One Day at a Time. Okay, on Three's Company. Okay, on Maude, all right? All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Mork and Mindy, Happy Days, okay? Give me a fucking break, all right? Family Ties, Growing Pains, okay? These are all shows that I watch, and every single one of them had episodes about feminism. Okay, about the importance of treating women as equals and that men are not superior to women. Okay, who's the fucking boss, for Christ's sake, all right? Every fucking show that was on TV, even the fucking cartoons like fucking He-Man and the Master, even they had fucking episodes on don't underestimate women, and women are not weaker than men. You know, and all that fucking shit. I grew up with this crap, all right? Well, it's not really, treating people with respect and equality, that's not crap. But the point is that I was inundated with this shit my entire fucking childhood. So I already knew. I didn't grow up in a world where it was okay to fucking hit a woman. I didn't grow up in a world where the man was the head of the fucking household and he had supreme authority over everybody. Okay, I didn't grow up in that world. Okay? Every movie, every TV show I watched had that message in there. Okay, that you don't fucking disrespect women. You don't treat women like they're second-class citizens, okay? You don't fucking discriminate against women. That was another big one. Okay, I remember Punky Brewster episode about that one. Remember that one with the train? Remember that one? Okay, yeah. So, I was inundated with this shit. Okay? Everyone from my generation, anybody that fucking turned on a TV or watched a movie knew this already. Okay, we didn't see men as the rulers of the world. I mean, there was a few assholes that did, but we looked at the world as like men and women together. That's how it's done. Okay, they're different, but they're equal. Okay, somehow in the past fucking 15 years or so, that has just been flipped around. It's just like women are all powerful and men are all shit. And that's the message you get. No, it's not overt like I just said. There's no TV show or movie out there that says the men are all shit and women are all good. No, there's not. There's not, okay? But when you watch a TV show and you will notice, especially if you watch more than fucking 30 minutes, longer than 30 minutes, you're going to notice that the women are really smart and beautiful, but the men are really stupid and they're evil, you know? And they're dumb. They're just dumb. They're evil, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is every good guy on the show a fucking idiot? Why is every good-looking smart guy on the show evil? You know, or what? Why is every strong, capable man fucking insecure and weak, has no self-esteem? You know, you notice that, and that's all the shows. And those are the good guys on the show, okay? Like, you just notice that over and over again. You know, like, what the fuck is going on? Why is every guy on this show's supposed to be about a man is the leader of the show, right? But yet it's like the women on the show are the ones that do all the work and they're the ones that actually like beat the bad guys, and the main character guy on the show, he's just a dumb fuck who can't do anything without his female assistants doing the real hard work. You know, and that just keeps happening over and over again, and that's every fucking show out there right now. This woke ideology, that the women are better than men. And if people like me say anything about it, well, we're just a bunch of fucking incels living in our mom's basement who can't get fucking laid, We're just jealous because women are in charge now. And then get the fuck out of here with that noise, okay? I don't live in my fucking mom's basement, okay? I live in a fucking penthouse. All right, do you? Okay, so no, don't give me that fucking bullshit. All right, I mean, you can't fuck that, but I do. All right, so no, we're not. We're just pointing out some shit. Okay, the same shit that the women were pointing out in the 1950s and the 1960s about every time they see a woman in a fucking TV show, she's always a fucking housewife who's more than happy to lick her husband's asshole when he gets home from work. Okay, and there was some truth to that. Okay, Leave It to Beaver, fucking Father Knows Best. Okay, the Donna Reed show. Yeah, so yeah, there was, but that's because they couldn't get away with stuff back then. Okay, you'll notice that the husbands on those shows back then, they never did Ralph ever really beat the shit out of Alice on the honeymoon? No, he threatened to, but he never actually did it. Okay, because he couldn't do it. Okay, same thing on the Donna Reed show. Her husband never smacked her around. Okay, and Father Knows Best, he never was fucking around on his wife. So he wasn't, because they couldn't do that. Okay, same thing with the women on the shows. They weren't allowed to fuck around with their husbands, even though in real life there were women who were doing those things. You couldn't show that on TV because that sent a bad message. Okay, TV was censored, heavily censored. So were movies back in the day. That's why a lot of feminists believe that women were oppressed. They were never represented the way the sexual beings that they really are. The sexual queens and goddesses that they really are. Well, that's because they weren't allowed to. It's not because they didn't exist. There was plenty of fucking whores back then in the 40s and 50s. Plenty of them. Just as many as there are today. Okay, there's plenty of assholes back then too. Just as many as there are today. But they just couldn't show that in the movie. Okay, because they didn't want to propagate that as something that was acceptable behavior. So if it's not acceptable, just don't show it. I mean, yes, it was dumb, but you got to remember, movies hadn't even been around 100 years yet. Television was a brand new medium. Okay, they were still trying to figure that thing out. Okay, how do you make entertaining shows on a lower budget than you would a movie? That kind of thing. So they were still trying to work out the kinks. And the last thing they wanted to do was make this medium something into like a pornography, where that would have happened, it would have gotten shut down. Television would have been shut down. So they had to make sure they brought wholesome stuff to the TV, stuff that was safe. Probably the most risque thing they did in the 50s was like Milton Berle. When he had his TV show, he walked out there dressed as a woman. That was risque. It was a joke, okay? But it was kind of risque. He had makeup on and shit, and that was considered a joke. They call him Uncle Milty, but, the fact that he was in drag, that was about probably as risque as they could go. But they knew it was a joke. He played it off as a joke. It was part of his fucking act that he did when he did a stand-up comedy in the Catskill Mountains and shit, That was part of his act, so they allowed it. Okay, well, that was about as far as they went. They didn't have, you never saw fucking Desi Arnaz, Ricky Ricardo having threesomes behind his wife's back. You couldn't get away with that shit back then. Although he had them in real life. You couldn't have fucking, Lucille Ball having Milton Berle's big fucking cock impaling Lucille Ball behind Ricky's back because she was mad at him, even though that did happen in real life. Okay, you see what I mean? So, the stuff happened back then. Okay, there were women in charge back then. You just couldn't show it that way. That's all it was. You couldn't show it that way. And I dare anybody to give me a show from back then, like a My Three Sons or something, or a Hazel. Remember that show, Hazel? Or Please Don't Eat the Daisies. Oh, I'm really pulling out the old shit now, okay? Where the man, yes, he was the head of the household, but he didn't come home and just beat the shit out of his kids and beat the shit out of his wife. Okay, he didn't do that because that wasn't considered acceptable either. Okay? You got to remember that when World War II had just come, the men had just won World War II. Okay? So we came back and we just wanted some peace and quiet. We just wanted to relax. We wanted to buy a house in the suburbs. We wanted to buy a car. We wanted to get marry the woman that we loved, the one that we missed. Well, the woman we loved was fucking around on us while we were getting shot at by the Germans and Japanese. But the woman we ended up with when we got back home, we wanted to love her, and we wanted her to love us, and we wanted to raise a family. All right, so that's why the message was so different back then. Okay, they were trying to keep it. They were trying to keep the Catholic Legion of Decency from shutting down television, just like they were trying to shut down movies. Okay, so that's why it was so censored back then. But it was from a place of goodness. Okay, it didn't come from they were trying to oppress women or anything like that. They were just trying not to fucking show stuff that was going to get the medium destroyed. Okay, they were not trying to show stuff that said, okay, we're saying it's okay for men to beat the shit out of their wives. We're saying it's okay for women to fuck around and have kids by multiple men and not be married to any of them. No, they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to send that message out there. That's all it was. It was from a place of goodness. Okay, and they knew they couldn't get away with it if they tried. But obviously times change and shit. They got rid of the Hays Code. The Catholic Legion of Decency no longer fucking exists, okay, which is kind of weird, because when you think about Hollywood movies back in the day, they were created by Jewish people, but they were marketed. I mean, they were created by Jewish people for the consumption of Protestant people, but they were edited. They were censored by Catholic people, so go figure. But that's the truth. That's what it was. Okay, all right. So they were trying to see what they could get away with without just blatantly showing the world. They weren't allowed to show the world the way it really was in the 1950s. So this whole idea that women were stuck in the kitchen and shit is not true. Yes, there were some that were, but the ones that were there, most of them wanted to be there. They wanted to fucking take care of the household. That's enough of a job for anybody. And the women were in charge of the finances, so it's not like they were broke. They had to ask their husband for money. Their husband turned the checkbook over to them. They're the ones that had to buy all the shit that the house needed. Okay, the groceries. Okay, paying the fucking guy that mows the lawn or whatever. They were the ones that had to do all that shit. Okay, the guy was too busy fucking working his job, whatever it was. He was in charge of that. To provide, so he could provide the stipend to give to his wife so that she could handle the household budget and all that kind of stuff. Women controlled the checkbook back then, all right? So it's not like the women were powerless and they were forced into the fucking kitchen with a goddamn fucking ball and chain or nothing. No, that wasn't the truth at all, okay? Now, obviously, times have changed, and when this feminist movement told women they can be whatever they want to be and they don't have to do anything to do it, bull fucking shit, even though that's still the message going on out there. But times have changed, okay? So Hollywood now is trying to reflect the real world, okay? But what has changed is that instead of reflecting the real world, instead of showing us all those things that weren't allowed to show us back in the day, what they're doing is they're showing us what they want you to see, as opposed to what is, okay? So in this movie, you're gonna notice that the cool people, okay, the people that are cool, the good guys in this movie, all believe the same thing. That men should oppress. That women should oppress men. Okay, that women in the real world are oppressed by men, and that's not good. And that Barbies in the Barbie world oppress the men, and that is good. You see what I mean? That's the message. Okay, those are the good guys in this movie. You see what I mean? The bad guys are coincidentally all the men except for Alan. Okay, he's a mangina. He's one of the Barbies, basically. All right, and of course Ken Barbie. Yeah, okay. Can't leave out Ken Barbie. Okay, that's the Barbie with the cock. But the men, the Kens, and the board of directors, they're all depicted as idiots. Okay, they're all stupid. They're cowards. Okay, and they're all selfish and narcissistic. Okay, like the Barbies aren't, but they can't be referred to that way. You see what I mean? And that's the part that pisses me off, because it's not just Barbie it's every fucking Hollywood movie that does this. Anything that's approved by a board, you've got to have that woke shit in there. And it's not because they believe in the wokeness. They don't believe in equal rights for women, or at least not all of them do, okay? They don't believe in any of this shit, okay? The patriarchy and the fucking gender pay gap, which is a myth, by the way, okay? All that kind of shit, that men oppress women today, 2023, okay? They don't really believe any of that shit, okay? The reason they're doing it is so they can get a higher ESG score. It's the environmental social governance score, because that's what the monetary firms, okay, the investment firms, that's how they rate the companies now, okay, is on ESG, environmental social governance. If you have a high ESG score, in other words, if you're woke, then they will lend you money. But if you're not woke enough, then they're not going to rate you as worthy of lending you money. This has nothing to do with whether your company is profitable or not. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, do you have enough gay people working there? Do you have enough people of color working there? Do you have gender neutral bathrooms? Shit like that, That's how they rate it. It has nothing to do with whether or not your company is profitable, okay? But that's why they're doing it. Okay, it's not because they really believe this shit. Not at all. Why do you think all these corporations start showing the pride flag all the fucking time? It's because that's part of the ESG score. Okay, if they don't openly celebrate pride, they get a lower score. Okay, which means they get a lower chance of getting a loan from fucking Merrill Lynch or fucking BlackRock or Vanguard. okay, or all the other fucking investment firms that are out there, okay, that pretty much rule the world. All right, and they're probably going to take me out not just for saying that out loud, but it's true. Okay, that's the reason for it. All right, Diego, I'm giving you Streaming's point of view. Now, where did I leave off last time on Barbie? Okay, so where we left off last time, okay, what do you call it? The Barbies unbrainwashed each other. Okay, and now they're fucking around with the Kens. The Kens gave themselves 2 days to vote themselves into power, which is weird because they're already in power. And our Barbie, Margot Robbie Barbie, she decided that she was going to be Ken's, was it low commitment maintenance girlfriend or some shit? What did he call it? I don't remember what he called it. You're my low maintenance, low commitment fucking girlfriend or so. Long-term distance, low commitment, casual girlfriend. Which is fake. She's just pretending to be in love with him so that she can take power back, all right? So what the Barbies did, they all matched up with a Ken, okay? And then they switched off. So while the Kens were all singing them the one song, Push by Matchbox 20, that's the only song they know, okay, the girls got up and left and went to go sit with another Ken. And that made the Ken that was playing the song for them jealous. Okay, now they're jealous and their feelings are hurt because this girl. But the movie shows that every Barbie got up and sat with another Ken, though. So that means that every Ken should still have a Barbie to sing to. It's just a different Barbie. But we don't see any of that in the movie. We see the Barbies get up and go sit down next to another Ken. But then the very next scene is a Ken sitting there by himself with his dick in his hand, all depressed and sad. That he's lonely. And that makes no fucking sense. So even this movie can't even get its own fucking logic right. So the Kens have a meeting. They took over Barbie's house. And they decide that they're going to go to war because their feelings are hurt. Okay, because these girls use their sexuality. Because they know the Kens are in love with them. But none of the Barbies are in love with any of the fucking Kens. Okay, because that's realistic too. Okay, so they use their sexuality because that's the power that they have over the Kens. You know. And the Barbies are not in love with any of the Kens because if they were attracted to the Kens, then that means that the Kens would have power over them. And that cannot fucking happen in a feminist movie. It's got to be the women that have all the power. And that applies to the real world too. Okay, get the fuck out of here with that noise. That's what this movie's trying to tell you. So, yeah. So the Kens decide they're going to go to war, but they're not going to go to war with the Barbies, who are clearly manipulating them. They're going to go to war. I guess they didn't read that chapter in all those fucking patriarchy books, those fake patriarchy books that Ken stole from the fucking California public school system, right? Yeah. Okay. I guess he read them all. Okay, enough to convince all the Barbies to submit to the patriarchy, but I guess he forgot the part where women are capable of manipulating you. All right. So he decides he's going to go to war with the other Kens, which makes no fucking sense. I said in the last video, if the Barbies really wanted to hit home with this message, okay, of jealousy, using jealousy and insecurity as a weapon, they could have done it. I'm not saying they couldn't. They most definitely could have. But what they should have done is all the Barbies should have gotten up, left the Kens while they were singing their song, and go sit with one Ken. If they had done that, then all the other Kens would have gotten mad. They would have gotten upset. And then they would have gone to war with that one Ken. Okay? That's believable. Like, I could believe that they could have pulled that off, but that's not what the Barbies wanted to do. They wanted all the Kens fighting each other, not just all the Kens against one, okay? So that while they're distracted, they don't vote for the Kens to take over Barbie Land, and instead the Barbies will show up at the fucking White House or whatever, at Congress, and they'll vote to take the power back. Now, that's a vote that they cannot enforce. Okay, I mean, what's to stop the Kens from just pulling out their muscles and forcing the Barbies out of there? Because they are men, they are strong, healthy men, and these are pretty beautiful, but they're women. They could easily just force them out physically. Because remember, the Kens did not physically force the Barbies out of Barbie Land, okay? They just used their words to make them submit. Okay, so they did it through nonviolence, which I thought was kind of cool. Okay, that the Kens could have easily used their muscle to take over Barbie Land. They could have always done it, but for some reason they never did. So when they do a hostile takeover of Barbie Land, they use their words to get the women to submit, which is intelligent, which tells me the Kens aren't that stupid. Okay, But apparently they're only stupid when the script says they have to be, and they're smart when the script says they have to be. All right, the inconsistency is definitely there. Okay, so that's what they decided to do. They decided to go to war with all the other Kens. Okay, now how the fuck they pick teams, I have no fucking idea. But there's no weapons in Barbie Land or anything, so they're gonna have to fucking just put on their fucking outfits, and it's gonna end up being a dance off, like a fucking a boy band type dance off. All right, so Ken starts singing shirtless. He starts singing this hit song called "I'm Just Ken." Yeah, that's the scene where he's shirtless and just sitting there, with his fucking bleached blonde hair. You know, it's a self-pity song about being in the friend zone, okay? You know, how because he's a Ken, he's automatically Barbie in the friend zone with Barbie, you know, and Barbie will never love him, which is bullshit. Ken was created to be Barbie's love interest because Barbie didn't have anyone to be in love with when she first came out, and the little girls wanted Barbie to have a fucking boyfriend because that's what little girls do. They pretend when they play with a Barbie doll, they're pretending to be a grown-up. Okay, and they look around, they see that grown-up girls all have boyfriends and husbands. So of course, Barbie doesn't have one, so you better make me one. And so Ruth Handler did. She created a Ken doll. Now that she did create. She didn't create Barbie. Barbie was a doll called Bill Lilly that was created in Germany a good 2 years before Ruth Handler ever even looked at it. Okay, she just got the rights to it to make an American version of it, and it was a big hit. Eventually, she did buy the rights to Bill Lilly herself, so that she could defunct that company, so that she couldn't go in competition with herself. Okay, but Ruth Handler did not create Barbie from scratch. Okay, she did create Ken from scratch. The male Barbie, okay, was created by Ruth Handler. Okay, and she named it after her son Kenneth. All right, and Barbie was created because the little girls wanted Barbie to have a love interest. They wanted Barbie to have a boyfriend because back in the early '60s, there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with a woman loving a man. You see what I mean? There is today, but there wasn't back then. Okay, and that is the part this movie overlooks. They're saying that Ken was created as an appendage to Barbie. Okay, someone to worship her and love her and lick her asshole. Okay, that's not what Ken was created to be. He was created to be her love interest. They were created to love each other. Okay, that was Ken's purpose. All right, but the movie overlooks that. No wonder Ken's upset. But Ken seems to believe the bullshit himself. He believes that he was created just to be an appendage to Barbie, an accessory for Barbie, and he wasn't. Okay? But the movie's not going to tell you that. So I have to tell you that, all right? So yeah, so he sings the self-pity song, okay, and the Kens end up fighting each other on the pink beach. They fight the other Kens, okay, which are led by Asian Ken, Samil Yu, that fucking pussy in real life, okay, Mr. Shang-Chi himself from fucking the Marvel Universe. All right, that's the only reason he's in the movie is because he got a Shang-Chi movie. All right, yeah, he sucks. He sucks as a human being, and he sucks as a fucking actor too. Okay, he plays Asian Ken. All right, and so they have a fight. Okay, which is not really fighting. If you look at the beach scene where they're attacking each other, they're not really attacking each other. They're like bopping their chest, okay? And if you look in the background, you'll see two Kens doing the waltz. They're dancing with each other like in a fucking gay bar. Okay, so I wouldn't call this a fight. Okay, I would call this a PG fucking gay orgy. All right, is what it is. Okay, because even when they're not fighting, even when they're circling, they're just like, you know, like that, okay? Yeah, you guys, those of you that are old enough, you ever watch a show called Three's Company with the late great John Ritter? Okay, John Ritter on that show, he played a guy named Jack Tripper who was a straight guy, even though he had a gay voice and shit, you know, like hello, Mr. Farley, like he talked like that. He talked like Monroe from fucking Too Close for Comfort, right? But anyway, he pretended to be gay when the landlord was around because the landlord wouldn't let a straight guy live in an apartment with two girls. Okay, two hot girls, okay? Well, hey, it was the 70s. It was a different time, all right? Of course you can do that today, but back then it was like you can't do that, right? So he wouldn't let a straight guy live with these two hot girls. So they came up with this excuse that he was gay so that they could let him live there, all right? So he had to act gay around the landlord, but the rest of the time he was straight. Okay, well, if you can remember the episodes when Mr. Furley is standing there or when the fucking... when the Ropers are there, he acts all flamboyant and shit, you know? Well, that's what all these Kens act like. They all act like that. So we're supposed to believe that men that act like this, okay, that are dancing with each other, that are slow dancing with each other, are in love with the Barbies? Are you out of your fucking mind? Oh my God. Yeah, anyway, and of course, Ryan Gosling's the only one that's trying to act macho, He does the fucking sneer and shit, even though he's wearing the fucking, the mink coat and shit, the bandana, and just looks as gay as fuck. He looks like a fucking gay male prostitute, honestly. Like he's sleeping under Hollywood Boulevard or something, right next to fucking New Kids on the Block. But anyway, so he's doing all that kind of shit, and it's a bullshit fight, and then all of a sudden during the fight, they get transported to some fucking room, some fucking stage, some sound stage where they're all wearing black now. They're wearing black capris and tight black t-shirts, and they're wearing black loafers with no socks. Okay, and they're wearing these high-cut capris, the kind of girls wear, and they're doing their stupid-ass dance, their boy band dance, I don't. They're not even, like, fighting each other anymore. They're, like, dancing with each other, okay? So, and at one point, the Kens even kiss each other. I'm not making that up. Watch the fucking scene again. They kiss Ryan Gosling on the cheek. Two Kens kiss him on the cheek. Why don't you just kiss him on the fucking tongue while you're at it, okay? I think we pretty much have established, okay, that these Kens are all queer-coded. They're not really straight, okay? As far as we know, the only one that's even said he's attracted to Barbie is the Ryan Gosling Ken. The rest of the Kens, no. Okay, but they can't say that the Kens are gay, even though they're acting gay, because if they do that, that means that these straight heterosexual Barbies have just declared war on the gay community. You see what I mean? So we can't have that. So they have to be straight. Else they can't be victims. Okay, because there's no such thing as the straight men being the victims. Only the gay men are the victims. You see what I mean? That's the message they're trying to give you here. And that's in every movie, not just this one. All right? It's okay to be a white guy if you're gay. If you're gay and you're white, it's okay in a movie. You will be treated with respect. Okay? But if you're a white guy and you're straight, okay, you're a piece of shit. You're just a fucking piece of shit, all right? And you will be treated accordingly, all right? So, the butt of every joke, you get your ass kicked, you're the bad guy, that kind of thing, all right? So the Kens, so they do all that fucking stupid ass shit, the gay stuff, okay? They kiss Ken on the cheeks, and it ends when they're all fucking holding hands, okay? It's a fucking gay video, for Christ's sake, okay? This is just a 10-minute fucking gay joke. That's all it is, all right? The next scene is the ball. All the Barbies, okay, in their pink jumpsuits. They're all wearing pink jumpsuits now, not just the ones that were undercover, okay? They vote. They go to the, I guess, Congress, whatever, Barbie Congress, and they vote to make Barbie Land theirs again. Because that's all they had to do was just go there and vote. They don't actually have to defeat the Kens to reclaim their authority over Barbie Land. They just have to vote. And the Kens are just going to give up now. Oh, you mean you voted while we were distracted? Oh, shit, I guess it's yours again. Let's go home, guys. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, all right? But that's going on, all right? Yeah. Okay, so they vote to reclaim Barbie Land. Okay, the Barbies jump up and down. Okay, but the happiest person there is not the Barbies. The happiest person there, once the Barbies reclaim Barbie Land, is Alan. Yeah, Alan. He was happier as a second-class citizen in Barbie Land. He was actually happier when the Barbies ruled everything and treated him like shit. Because it's okay when the girls treat him like shit. It's not okay if the Kens treat him like shit. Okay, if the Kens treat him like shit, he's got to get the fuck out of there. Yeah. But if the girls treat him like shit, it's okay. It's what he loves. You see what I mean? And that's supposed to be your role model in this movie, Alan. Guys, that's supposed to be your role model. You're supposed to be like Alan. That's the only acceptable version of a man in this fucking movie. The only kind that's okay, it's okay to be a man if you're Alan. Anyone else? No. All right. So President Barbie, that's Michelle Obama Barbie. Yeah, she got elected for nothing. All right, and she's wearing a jacket and she's wearing pants now. She's not wearing her Miss America dress anymore with the fucking sash that says president. So when the Kens are done fucking circle jerking each other, they get back home. Okay, they notice that the Barbies have taken over their homeland, all their houses again. Okay, and President Barbie, they were like I said, wearing her jacket and her pants now. Okay, because she decided to go butch now. She informs the Kens that they are back in control, that the Barbies are now back in control, and she calls them all a bunch of motherfuckers. I'm not making that up. She called them all a bunch of motherfuckers. All right? And Ken decides to arm lock with the other Kens that are there, because they can't believe that they were just told that they just lost Barbie Land. No! You know, they get all defensive and shit. Okay? In his fur coat, no less. Okay, and instead of fighting back, instead of being like, oh, the hell it belongs back to you, it's still ours, guys. And I dare you to take it away from us. You see what I mean? Instead of doing that, which is what a real man would do in that situation, no, he just starts to cry. And then he says, "Don't look at me," and then he runs away. Like the pussy that he is, all right? He just decides to cry. Because that's what real men would do when faced with obstacles, you know, when faced with challenges, you know, things like, you know, World War II, World War I, you know, things like that, you know, burning buildings, you know. We just, whenever we see anything like that that might hurt us or might, you know, kill us, we just decide to cry and run away. That's very realistic. Okay, that's what built the whole fucking world that we live in today, is the men fucking crying and running away and letting the women fucking handle everything. All right, that's how the world was built. Okay, and in case you didn't know, for sure, just watch this scene again. All right. Okay, men really show their true colors in the end. Okay, they just fucking cry and run away whenever they're faced with any sort of adversity. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's the realistic part of the movie. Okay. So that happens, okay. He's just as pathetic as as Barbie was rolling over on the floor, okay, because Barbie actually feels sorry for him, okay, because he ran away crying, and he's crying right now. And I'm thinking like, well, you know, I mean, you were rolling around on the floor crying too earlier, you know, with your face in the fucking grass, you know. You stiffened up your body like a doll and said you're just going to lay down here until a smarter Barbie than you figures out how to unfuck all this shit. Remember that? So how are you better than him? How are any of you Barbies better than him? Okay, I'm not saying he's good right now. He's not. Okay, but I'm also saying that you all aren't that great either, okay? So Barbie decides she's going to have a one-on-one with him. She goes over there to comfort him because that's what he needs. Barbie talks to Ken and tells him that it's okay to cry. No, it's not. Okay? It's okay to cry. And Ken's like, it was hard running stuff. I didn't love it. Those mini fridges are too small. And the freezers are practically useless. You know, when I found out the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest anyway. Yeah, basically we're subjected to that for another fucking 4 hours, you know. He's like, I always thought this would be our house. Jesus fucking Christ, man, I can't do this anymore. I can't fucking do this anymore. God damn. So Barbie's like, I owe you an apology, Ken. I'm sorry I took you for granted. Not every night had to be girls' night here. And Ken's like, thank you for saying that. And then he tries to kiss her. And she fucking pushes him away because that is sexual assault. But I don't like you that way. I don't like you that way. There's only carpet in my lunchbox. Well, yeah. Well, obviously. Because I don't know how to live without you. Well, that's every fucking movie today in the past 15 years. The guy says some shit like that. You know, why is that? Why is that whenever they make movies, you know, the girls are always boss bitches and they're always fucking all these different guys, you know, and they're being pushed on by their girlfriends. Hey, you fuck as many guys until you find the right one. Okay, go get yours, girl. Okay, that's every fucking show. Okay, but when it comes to men, we're only allowed to be in love with one fucking person. You ever notice that? We're only allowed to be in love with one fucking woman. Yeah, pretty realistic, right, guys? Yeah. Anyway, so that's going on here, and Barbie's like, you're Ken. That's who you are without me. You're Ken. And Ken's like, no, it's Barbie and Ken. There is no just Ken. I was created to feel the warmth of your gaze. Without it, I'm just a blonde guy that can't do backflips. Then he grabs the pole. Because he got to get all fucking emo and act like fucking Bono from U2 and just grab the pole and hang there. And Barbie's like, you have to discover who Ken is. And then he tries to kiss her, but then slaps himself. He's like, tries to get, but then he slaps himself. Because that's what men do all the time. When she pulls away from him trying to kiss her, he's like, no, I'm not going to slap myself because I'm not fucking pathetic. Then he starts crying some more. Big surprise.